It seems like a straightforward and simple topic that anyone could learn. When trading Forex, gold, stocks, or any equity, when do you buy and when do you sell? When and why should you enter and exit trades? There is a secret that is the ultimate solution to this challenge, and it's one that definitely escapes most people, no matter how intelligent or educated they may be. And if you learn it right now, starting here with this video, you could save yourself years of frustration from loss of money and loss of time, and instead become one of the few who masters the skill of trading. So let's get started with that right now and make it happen. You are aware by now that there are many completely different strategies and methods for entering and exiting trades. And if you're like me and most people, and you have invested some time and money into learning some of these strategies, you have probably discovered that most of them give you very little edge or probability over throwing a dart at the wall or just tossing a coin. Have you ever put in a year or two into learning and mastering a new method only to finally discover that it just doesn't work? And then move on to put in another year or two into learning a different method or strategy and then discover that it really doesn't work either. As you begin to find out that the method that you're following doesn't really have anything to do with what the market itself is continuously doing in its endless cycles. And if you ever question this, were you ever made to feel that even though you could prove that the method doesn't really work, that it's really you're not following it properly? And how did that make you feel? When you discover what really does work in trading, the first thing that should happen is that you discover something that is true about the market. Makes sense? If you're doing all of this work to discover a method or a strategy that actually works in trading, wouldn't it make sense that you would be discovering at the same time simultaneously something that is true about the market that you can see on charts and test it? And I think that that's why a lot of people want to see someone else's account, because they haven't discovered anything that's true. What I am about to reveal to you can be seen and known to be true, whether anyone entered the trade as a result of it or not. When you discover what's true about the market, you don't need to know if anyone entered at that time. It's true. And you can see that if you enter there in the future, you'll get profit. Once you know what is true about the market, you will no longer care who entered there or who didn't as a result of this natural phenomenon. Make sense? It will if you have common sense. So if you follow carefully now, without any bias or prejudging, and just suspend your disbelief, you will discover something that is true about the market that you can use in your own decision process for knowing why and when you should enter and exit trades. You will know for yourself when to buy and when to sell. When you look at a chart, the first thing that you want to see is that the market forms impulsive movements known as trends, followed by corrective movements known as corrections, consolidations, or counter trends. And so this is a chart of the daily time frame for the US dollar unweighted index known as the Dow Jones US dollar index, the FXCM Dow Jones US dollar index. You can get this from FXCM. You can also get it through TradingView. But what you need to discover is that it doesn't matter what pair you're looking at or what time frame you're looking at, you're going to see this phenomenon on every chart that you look at. And if you don't automatically see it on a particular chart, there are additional steps that can help you to learn how to see it or to guide you to be able to see it on some other chart or on some other time frame. But what you want to see here is this is not about counting anything. It is about a specific type of shape that includes the proportion, the angle, the overall shape, and the proportion relative to other parts of the shape. And it can take a little bit of time for you to develop the skill to be able to instantly recognize this. But here's an example of something that is fairly close to what I would consider to be the classic shape of a trend and a correction. This is the impulsive movement, and there happens to be 5 primary waves going down, and it doesn't have anything to do necessarily with counting waves. Just like, this is my hand, and knowing that this is my hand doesn't have that much to do with counting that there are 5 fingers. If there's a different number of fingers, you would still know that it's my hand. You still know that it's fingers because of the shape of it, where it's attached, what it's a part of, things like that. The correction has a specific shape. Now, can you see that it's true that if you identify the end of a correction, if you have the ability to do that with a high degree of accuracy, high probability you were able to do that. Maybe you can't do it right now, this minute, but if you could, can you see that it is true that that would give you the most profit that would be possible to get from trading? If you don't have that realization, well, you could look at the chart again and maybe try to use some common sense and say, if you could enter at the end of a correction, would that give you the most profit that would be possible to get? Would there be some other way that you could get more profit than that? So that's the first thing, is you would have to realize that it's true that markets form trends and they form corrections, and that if you could identify the trend, the end of the trend, the end of the correction, that you could get more profit than you could from any other method of trading. So if you look anywhere, like back over here, here's an impulsive wave, and then I put this vertical line here so that I can mark it so that you can see here's the ABC correction following that. And that is not based on counting it, but it's based on the shape relative to the impulsive movement. And there are no subdivisions or waves that are visible on this time frame, but obviously if you went to a different time frame, you would be able to see that. So now I'm going to go to a different time frame so that you can see it. So here I am on the 4-hour, and there's that classic shape, just another version of that classic shape of a trend. Back over here, here's the same shape, the classic shape going up, and here's the same shape going down, because this ended a bigger pattern on a longer time frame, which is why you would see a trend going down following a trend going up. Okay, so if someone says, okay, I can see that it did that on that one chart that you're showing me there, but I'm looking at a lot of other charts and I can't see that it's doing that. Many charts that I look at, I can't tell where's the trend and where's the correction. If you look at other charts and you don't see what I was just describing here, that is great, because that means that you may be right on the verge of discovering the next step, which is that there are other steps to being able to always see high probability trade setups. If everyone could randomly pull up any pair and any chart on any time frame and see nothing but a series of perfect wave patterns and perfect trade setups, then trading would have no challenge, would it? Because yes, there are other steps that are needed that's going to require more study and more practice. So yes, there is a little bit of a challenge in taking those additional steps to be able to see these high probability trade setups. And yes, that's right. It's true that watching one YouTube video will not be able to make a person have the kind of skill that would enable them to have consistent success in trading, right? And that's why the best way to gain that kind of skill is to participate in live daily sessions where this is being repeated on current real-time charts, and to find out more about how you can participate in these live sessions that I do every day, just go to tradingmastermind.com. So if you have even had a tiny breakthrough in your understanding of what's needed for you to become successful in trading, then that is fantastic. Now, if you feel like you haven't become an absolute master of trading from watching only one video, well, I have made a number of other videos about this particular topic for how you can have success in trading. And you can watch those right over here.